Look like farmers are running out of cash, y'all. Under the crisis brought on by Trump.
I heard y'all farmers was mad that Trump doing you wrong. I see y'all making these videos. Some of y'all turning your flags upside down and you saying, nah, this what you get, farmers. I'm laughing. And then I heard some of you farmers are actually setting other black farms on fires because you jealous of black farmers because they had to get theirs out the mud, but you need some workers on your. I just find it funny. Who y'all thought was gonna come and work on them farms now? Come on now.
Texas farms just lost 100% of their workers overnight. Crops are rotting in the field, livestock is dying, immigration raids are collapsing American agriculture. Americans are about to learn what the actual cost of food really is. And agriculture is the economic foundation for most of these rural Texas towns, so unless these workers are undisappeared immediately, these towns are going to collapse.
It's called farmer responsibility or owner responsibility, where they're going to be largely responsible for these people. And they know these people. They've worked on the farms for 15 years, and all of a sudden so I have a great, Ron does, Christy does, we have a great feeling for the farmer and for others in the same position. And we're going to give them responsibility for people. And we're going to have a system of signing them up so they don't have to go. They can be here legally. They can pay taxes and everything else. They're not getting citizens.
The President of the United States suggested slavery. The leader of the cult that lives and dies under the phrase, "Make America Great Again," suggested slavery. Except in his words, he calls it owner responsibility or farmer responsibility. He's at the concentration camp in the Everglades. I can't make this shit up. And he says that they're going to go to farms, arrest the migrants, and instead of deporting them, literally to fucking anywhere, the Supreme Court said that he could just send them anywhere. Instead of deporting them, he said they can stay there and work, because how can the farm survive if they don't stay there and work the farm? But he made sure to mention they're not going to get citizenship, and then the owner of the farm will have responsibility over them. Human beings that can't get citizenship.
So Texas farms don't have no workers? I like salad, y'all. I mean, what we gonna do? I'm not going out there. Y'all should have left them folks alone. Now look at us. We already overweight, out of shape, high blood pressure. Now we ain't got no vegetables. I am just waiting on MAGA to report to the fields. It's your turn.
It is no joke. Hard work, hard labor, long, hot. We were out there, what? Felt like 2 hours. How long was it?
About 15 minutes.
15 minutes? Felt like at least 2 hours. How'd you think I did? I think I held my own pretty good.
Yo no creo que les aguantaste ese ritmo.
Oh yeah. Now once I got in the groove of things, I was just, man, you get in the zone, and I started doing the twist method. Did you see that? That's pretty awesome.
That's all you said.
You try some walking watermelon field.
Just get over.
No, I think I'm about to have a heat stroke.
¿Te gustó andar acá?
I don't know if you're speaking Spanish or English right now.
Para esta vida.
Oh.
Hi guys, my name is Esther Daniel and you're welcome back to the channel. So now the tables have completely turned. The same white farmers who voted for massive deportation, thinking would punish immigrants and black people, are the ones begging for help. Texas and Florida farmers are losing workers overnight. Crops are rotting in their fields and their businesses are going bankrupt. And now they are asking black people to save them. But black Americans are saying no. You created this mess, you deal with it. Let's get into it. And before we do that, please subscribe to the channel, like and share the video to help the channel out.
Have you seen these 3 videos? Let's talk about them.
Told ICE agents arrived this morning here right around 6 o'clock in the morning. We don't know how many people were detained. One of the farm workers we talked to said ICE agents were chasing some of their co-workers around until they were detained.
The farms.
Officials here were in fact ICE agents, and the people working at this facility were bussed out around 1 p.m. today. In the video we captured, it shows officials moving people into this white bus. These people were handcuffed with zip ties. The bus had shades preventing people from seeing who's inside.
Meatpacking industry.
impacting this construction project, but many others in the region as well. An industry expert telling us that these raids are having more drastic impacts now than in the past.
How does any of that make sense? This is about cruelty, and we are shooting ourselves in the foot. The number went up. It's 3,000 people a day. Elementary school graduations, courthouses, people doing it the legal way. 6 in the morning, at work, in the fields, picking. The logic that Americans are going to want to do these jobs? Like, what's the plan? Who's going to do these jobs? Like, think about it. Like, this can get even crazier really fast. We're like 5 months in. Ay, Diosito.
Here's a solution for undocumented workers in America. How about we give them work visas for the specific industry, but not give them work visas where the employer owns the rights to that employee. Make them legal where they can work here with a visa and they can work for anybody so that competition is fair, so that no longer can these greedy capitalist corporations take advantage and exploit undocumented immigrants and pay them in the shadows under the table. Now they have to pay them a fair wage. Now they have to honor labor rules and pay them overtime. Now they have to pay workers' comp, unemployment tax, payroll taxes. It's all on the up and up. Those guys can come work for people like me that will give them a fair shake.
Well, look like farmers are running out of cash, y'all. Under the crisis brought on by Trump. You know, some small farmers, they're on the brink of bankruptcy. Can't afford to run their farms. Well, they ain't got to worry, because J.D. Vance is there. You had to buy up that fucking land. But that's what they wanted from the beginning. That's my opinion. They wanted to boot some of the farmers out so they can buy that land. They wanted their land. It's a goddamn shame that the farmers didn't see it coming. Goddamn shame. Yeah, they didn't see it coming. If they had this, you know, did a little more research, especially on J.D. Vance. He want that goddamn land. He want their land. That's my opinion. But if they had took the time and did some research, I think they wouldn't have voted Trump. But that's my opinion. Oh, well. They lose the land, they lose their land.
So it's come to my attention that the farmers who literally voted for Trump and voted for their own demise, who currently have crops sitting in their field that are rotting, and the farmers who are burning their own fields due to the crops rotting, they're thrown for a loop. And I guess they're thrown for a loop because they thought that once they got rid of the illegal immigrants, that black people were going to be out in the fields picking their crops. Because they think that we don't have jobs, that I guess we sit around on our asses all day. And I think it's so crazy because they really don't understand that black people are very educated. They don't understand that a lot of us possess a college education, and that we're qualified to do other jobs. They really think that we sit around taking advantage of the government all day.
42% of our agricultural workforce, 42% lack proper documentation. That means they should be deported in most people's eyes. That's almost half of your farmer workforce. Imagine what's going to happen when that falls off. Who's going to go work on the farms? On top of that, we don't understand that a healthy country relies on births, relies on new blood and new people. I've spoken about this many times, but when it comes time for us to be on Social Security, it's the kids who will come after us, the workforce that comes after us, that pays for us to be on here. That's what happens. That's how it always plays out. If you have a lack of workforce, you're not going to have the money to put into this.
Donald Trump, don't backpedal now. Now you're saying or acting like you're regretting or that it was a mistake that you did this mass deportation, although you set it in place And this was planned and thought out way before your presidency when y'all were concocting up this Project 2025. You had plenty of time to think about the consequences this was going to have, and you still proceeded with it. So now you're just realizing that all immigrants aren't criminals. Now you want to realize that they are actually hardworking people that have been working on these farms for over 20 years and just want to make an honest living for their family. Now you want to realize that now you have shipped all these hardworking immigrants off to their native land, that us Americans are not going to want to work in these fields for the prices that they are paying these immigrants. Now you're seeing that the farmers are suffering because of your dumb ass decisions. And it's sad because your blatant racism wouldn't allow you to actually delve into how agriculture works and how important the immigrants are when it comes to farming. And now you want to sit on a podium saying something needs to be done and that we have to use our common sense. Don't get French with us now. We ain't got to do nothing because I did not vote for you. I did not do this. So you need to fix this since they, the MAGA people, voted for you.
It is fascinating that you think this is going to happen because it's not. They have tried for decades to try and get Americans to go pick in the fields, and it's failed every fucking single time. So let me give you a little history, okay? Let's go back to the year 1965. And there's a Secretary of Labor dude named W. Willett Wirtz, and he wanted to recruit 20,000 high schoolers and college students across America to go pick in the fields, okay? See, what happened was, prior to 1965, there was something called the Bracero Act. It was put into place during World War II. It was an agreement between the American government and the Mexican government that allowed Mexican agricultural workers to come up and harvest across the United States. Okay, what happened was there was an activist named Cesar Chavez, and he started to advocate against the poor working conditions, the wage theft, and many other things that were going on with the Mexican agricultural workers that were coming up and working. So America, rather than make conditions better, also don't forget this is during the Civil Rights Movement, they thought, you know what, we'll just end this program and we'll just have white boys go pick in the fields. That'll solve all problems. Let's get into it. They launched a program called A-Team. That's right, not the TV show with Mr. T. No, it was the agricultural team. And this was they put ads in the newspaper all across America to recruit. Here's the interesting thing. 18,000 people did sign up. However, only 3,300 actually participated in the program and got to work in the fields. Guess what happened? Problems immediately arose for the A-Team nationwide. Okay, so this is directly from an article. In California, Salina Valley, 200 teenagers from New Mexico, Kansas, and Wyoming quit just after 2 weeks on the job. We worked 3 days and all of us were broke. The Associated Press quoted one team as saying, students elsewhere staged strikes. Living conditions and wages were so bad that they quit. The experiment quickly disappeared into the proverbial dustbin of history.
Texas, you guys are all up in Donald Trump's policies. I hope you guys learn a lesson once you see the ripple effect of the farms closing in your state, what's going to happen. And it's not just one farm. There's multiple farms that's closed down because these undocumented immigrants are scared and not showing up. And the small businesses that rely on these farms, their goods and stuff, you will see the effects. You guys don't think this through. You just run on with your racist, ways of deporting undocumented migrants that are good workers. They're good workers. Now they're not showing up. So listen, Texas, we'll see how that works out for you.
It feels like the people in power want to be glorified slave owners. Like, I think at this point, being a slave owner, that just must be a genetic thing. Because how much do they want to control people? Like, how much control do they want to have over the everyday person? So like, oh, you have to go work. And if you don't work, then you're going to be homeless. If you're homeless, then we might put you in jail, so you have to work for us anyway. You're going to make us money either way. We're going to do what we want to do. Oh, and by the way, you're not allowed to, make decisions about pregnancy, about bringing a child into this world. No, that's done by the government at this point. Yeah. No abortion for you. No. It's like, y'all just want to be glorified slave owners. You want to own people. You want to own people and have them do work for you and then birth more slaves for you and your system in order to make you more money. That literally is just a glorified slave owner. So what are we doing here?
So yesterday I made a video talking about the white farmers and how they were crashing out all over social media because they voted for Shitty Bridges and thought he was going to give them back slaves. And also because of that, they lost 100% of their workforce due to the ICE raids. I want to come on here today and I want to give some love to black farmers who I don't think get enough, right? I can appreciate that they are not on the internet spazzing out and crashing out. You want to know why? It's because whatever is going on in the current climate when it comes to farming, they're not new to this because they have faced adversity, not being given what they need in order to be successful, unlike their white counterparts, right? Because they have been spoon-fed everything they've needed in order for them to be successful. And now that that privilege and entitlement is gone because of who they voted for, they're on the internet trying to garner some favor and some sympathy. Meanwhile, black farmers, chilling. They cool as cucumbers because guess why? They know how to handle themselves and their farms during times of crisis. I guess favor ain't fair after all, huh?
If you're paying attention to agriculture in the news cycle, you might have noticed the efforts to expand the H-2A seasonal foreign guest worker program, or even make it easier to access a program for non-seasonal work. What you might not realize is the chilling effect this would have on American farm workers. Republicans and even some Democrats are talking about freezing, cutting, and even possibly discontinuing the federal adverse effect wage rate. Now, the AEWR is a yearly survey of wages by each area that determines the next year's minimum amount of pay for H-2A workers in that specific place. Protection makes sure that H-2A workers are not undercutting American farm workers' wages. If you seem confused, don't worry. It's actually really, really simple. The AEWR might seem complicated at first, but it's actually very simple and extremely important for American farm workers. Why is it so important for us to fight this, you may ask? Well, because if growers and their political cronies get their way, not only would the H-2A workers' wages be frozen, but their lower salaries could be an unfair competition for domestic workers. Now, this would affect all farm workers' wages. It would be just wrong for Congress to give growers another corporate subsidy that decreases wages even lower for farm workers who harvest the food we see on our shelves every single day and risk their lives harvesting the food we need. Importing more vulnerable workers, getting rid of the protections that keep them safe, and at the same time lowering American workers' wages and job security is not the right thing to do. Now more than ever, it is crucial for you to vocalize your opinion, so make sure to say no to these provisions which will harm farm workers in the U.S.
So you wanted proof that the immigration policy would be affecting everyone? Look at your grocery bill next month and the next coming months. ICE ramped up raids in places like Ventura County and parts of the Central Valley fields in California. They went through fields, they went through houses, you name it, grabbing people up. Now, farmers are seeing up to 70% of their workers not showing up to work, left by fear of being arrested. And that means fruits, vegetables are going unharvested, which means they're going to go bad in the fields. A 1/6 generation farmer put it like this: if 70% of your labor force vanishes, so does your crop. And most local workers don't want to pick these plants. And it's a real worry. Cropland is worth nearly $60 billion, and that could be at risk of going into bankruptcy, being sold off to the next bidder, and that bidder may not be an American company. That could be a problem. Workers themselves are scared. One said, if I show up to work, I don't know if I'll ever come home to see my family again. The bottom line is, this isn't just hurting farms. It could raise food prices and disrupt supply chains nationwide. Be sure to follow along as I continue to provide updates, and let me know your thoughts below in the comments.
This is exactly what happens when you vote against your own interests. These farmers thought deporting immigrants and punishing black people would somehow make their lives better. All it's done, it's collapsed the very system they depend on. They forget who was actually doing their hard work that kept their farms alive, and now they expect black people to step in like nothing happened. But here is the reality. Black Americans today have better jobs, better opportunities, and no reason to go to work for people who openly voted to harm them. Actions have consequences, and this is one of those moments where the consequences have finally landed at the feet of the people who caused them. The message is clear: if you build your success on the back of others, don't be shocked when it all crumbles after you push those people away. This is the cost of hate. Anyway, guys, these are just my opinion, and I would like to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share the video to help the channel out. See you in the next one. Bye.